This is Beat the Market, the only show in Zimbabwe that deep dives into everything equities, markets, and finance. We're coming to you from Zimbabwe's capital, Harare. Let's get started. Now, coming up, 40 schools contested in the 2025 Capital Markets High School quiz, with Marist Brothers Younger emerging as the overall winner. Hosted by Zim Papers in partnership with Financial Markets Indaba and supported by sponsors including Old Mutual, POSB, Delta Corporation, Insco, Zim Switch, Tingamira, and Tika Shoes, the competition promoted financial literacy among students nationwide. Marist Brothers won $3,000 for their school, along with an additional $1,000 from the Securities and Exchange Commission of Zimbabwe. Zengeza High came second, earning $2,000 for their school. Harare High School impressed by growing a virtual 1 million investment to 14 million ZiG during the contest. The event introduced practical trading via the C-Trade platform, while partners also made this very contest quite fascinating and empowered students to become informed investors and active economic participants. Now, we speak to Harare High School team here on Beat the Market. We'll later on speak to Kudzanai Sharara, Zim Papers Business Hub Deputy Editor and Coordinator of the Capital Markets Quiz Contest, on how you can start your investment journey. We also have a surprise guest, of course, flanking Kudzi Sharara. Beat the Market, we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Of course, you're watching Beat the Market as we come to you live from Zimbabwe's capital, Harare. I'm Eben Mabunda. Now we get into the teensy-weенsies of our main story this very afternoon. Now, Harare High School delivered a standout performance in the 2025 Capital Markets High School quiz by showcasing remarkable investment skills. As part of the competition's practical component, the school grew a virtual portfolio from 1 million ZiG to an impressive 14 million ZiG in a matter of weeks. And of course, they took advantage of the C-Trade platform. This exceptional feat highlighted their understanding of trading dynamics, risk management, and market analysis. The performance demonstrated that financial education at the high school level can translate into real-world competence, reinforcing the value of early exposure to capital markets and investment literacy. Now, I'm joined by Zelda Chipanda, a Harare High School student and a Form 6 student at that. We also have Makanaka Mvundura, another Upper 6 students, of course, at Harare High School, as well as Memory Mudangwe, a teacher as well as a quiz matron from Harare High School. Ladies, hello and welcome to Beat the Market.
Thank you for inviting us.
Fantastic. To get the ball rolling, I will start with you, Zelda. You participated, of course, in the National Capital Markets Awards 2025. May you tell us, how was the experience?
Well, participating in the quiz, it was exciting and also fierce because we had to apply all the knowledge that we knew on trading, because this was our first time to trade. So we had to apply all the information that we are reading for us to trade. So it was exciting and also fierce because because we had limited time. We had something like 3 weeks. So we were trying to say,
understand,
and we didn't know, so we're trying to tag the information that we have to put it into practicality. So it was exciting, and but we learned a lot.
You learned a lot.
Yes.
Absolutely. Now, I'll pose the same question to you, Makanaka. Of course, there were different aspects of the contest where you had to, of course, memorize and get to understand some of the elements of the trading. And then there was also the practical side where you had to invest in stocks. May you tell us, how was your experience getting to participate in this quiz in the year?
Well, the quiz was a bit different, right? Because I think in January we were like, it's going to be the same thing. We're just going to read, I think, a week or two, and then we'll start everything. And then we get to hear that we're starting to trade virtually. So it was a bit hard because I'm a commercial student, right? So this is going above the books, right? What I'm taught in school and what I'm doing right now, it's different.
What's your combination?
I'm doing business studies, economics, and geography.
Okay.
Right. So because of the combination, it's a new feat, like a new approach to everything that I know. Because in school and in what we're doing is different. But then it was also exhilarating because knowing that I'm trading, and people will be like, what are you doing? I'm trading. They're like, oh, you're trading. You know, they get to, when telling people about it, it makes you feel as if, you're the big boss, you're trading. Right? But then when it comes to doing the real stuff as a team, you're like, guys, how are we going to sell this thing? How are we going to buy those shares from Econet? But then, should we trust Econet? So it was more of a team effort, but then it was nice.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. Glad to hear about your experience. Let's also get to hear from you, Ma'am Modangwe, as it were. Right. Having participated, of course, as a school for the second time, I understand. How's been the experience, and how did it feel like from your perspective as being, of course, the captain of the ship and getting to guide the students throughout all the process of getting to learn about investment, capital markets, and, of course, getting to guide them through the practical application from an investment perspective?
Okay, thank you. It was actually our third time.
Oh, your third time?
Yes, our third time to participate. And before that, we had science students taking part in the competition. But this year, we had commercial students. So it was a bit better in terms of preparation, because at least they were well versed with the concepts that we were dealing with. But I must say it was exciting and very, informative, because these were very passionate about capital markets and trading. They were very self-driven. So I didn't do much in terms of preparing them for the real stuff. They were actually doing things for themselves. So it was quite exciting for me, because I was also learning from them and also from what we were researching on. So I must say it was a good journey and something that we enjoyed.
No.
Both the teachers and the students.
And the students. Quite interesting. Now, of course, you were able, as Zelda, to grow your fund from, of course, 1 million ZiG to 14 million ZiG in a matter of weeks. How did you guys perform such a feat?
Okay. So during the first week, we were very scared because we had 1 million. So we're telling ourselves that no, we're going to buy little shares. So we were just maintaining the money. We're like, the money is ours. And like, but going on, we were like, no, this is not the thing. So as we were now getting used to the trading, so we started to look for the real market data to see what is happening in the real market data. So we had to see and to match with the trading that we were doing, and then we started realizing that we do need to buy more and buy more and buy more. But later on, I realized that we're not supposed to be just being worried about our portfolio, but we must be investing. So we started
growing the fund.
Exactly. So we started to invest, and also we were buying and also selling, and it was very, very. And sometimes we could actually buy shares like from Zim, which were like there was a risk, but we risked it because the shares were sometimes they would go down, but we would risk it. But there were shares from Old Mutual, like those shares would buy them and would hold them because they were showing potential. They're going to be rising. So we say, and on the other side, we were actually worried, like, okay, the other schools are also trading. So what about us? So we had the pressure. We had to sacrifice a lot of our time because the trading time was only in the morning. Right. So during that time, we have lessons. So those times that we have free periods, that when we'll be like, we'll meet and then we'll trade. We traded a lot. I just remember when we were writing our C-Trade journal, it was long. We were like, did we do all this? Because the transactions were a lot. But we managed it. We managed it.
To add on to what Sauda said, it took a lot of research, right? And one of the challenges we had was a lot of, I think, the whole participants, the panelists, we were all prefects, right? We're prefects, we're upper sixes, we're writing our mid-years. And then at the school, you also hear challenges whereby some of the people you're with in the prefects, but they don't understand what you're doing because they see it as if it's a game, right? And then some of the stuff maybe with lessons, you're trying to go for a free period, but then they're projects, right? And people expect you at home, they expect you to be doing duties of which you're trying to catch up on the lessons when you were trading, right? So we had to like find a strategy whereby each of us would have like the app in our phones and we would try to trade individually. And then we'd meet up, I think once a week, and ask each other, what did you buy? What did you do? What did you do? And then we had a separate research team.
You had a separate research team?
Yes.
All right.
So whereby they would tell us, there's a market, there's so and so is happening, right? Okay, it's fallen. And each time, every morning, they will come with an update. Guys, something is happening with Tanganda, right? We need to buy Tanganda. You need to go to Addis, right? But then juggling it all was hard. But we thank God.
Wow.
I remember the second week, we had the internet breakdown.
At school.
There was no internet, there was no electricity. So we had to charge our phones and bring power banks. And we also had to buy data for ourselves so that they will be able to trade during the internet blackout.
Right. You are armed with this information and, of course, with this experience, Mrs. Mudangwe. May you speak to, from your perspective, how important is it for young learners to catch on to the wave of investing on the stock exchange, from your perspective?
I think, from my perspective, I think it's very important and imperative that the information on stock exchange be included in the syllabus at school so that students are given an opportunity to do it practically at school. And it should also be part of the curriculum that students actually do the trading like what we were doing in their given time and the platform to do so and the resources required to do so. It's very, very important.
Right. Memory, you spoke about the aspect of the research. Perhaps as follow-up to what you said, what did it entail? What were some of the platforms that maybe you were checking out? How did the team actually come up with the information? I guess I can open this to any of you guys to respond.
When it came to the research, right, there was a problem, right, whereby I think the app, I talked to the guys so many times. I was very bothersome, right? So you could go to the website, right, the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange website.
Yes.
And then you could see. I think, for example, there's this particular day whereby shares Econet in EHZL, the EcoCash shares,
Yes.
they would rise up, right? I think maybe 5% or 10%. And then you go back to the app, and then at the app, right, at the Econet is showing that it's risen, right? But then my shares Econet. But then in your portfolio, they're falling.
Okay.
And then you go to the live market and see everything is normal. Then you have to call them. There's a problem, such and such, what. And then you would fix it, right?
Okay.
But then the next day, because of like maybe the late login details or maybe late updates, right, it will take time. But then with the research team we had to look for lower sixes. Or maybe Form 3s and Form 2s.
Okay, to assist.
Yes, to assist us. And then at times we just tell them, you need to do this and this and this. But then it took a lot of time because we had to guide them as well. Kuti, how do you start your research? When you're researching, you're also looking for documents. For example, the rights issue that happened in Econet, right? The cautionary statement released by you need to take this into consideration. Because if they want the public, that means the share price will go up. So we have to buy it right now. So it took a lot of time that I'm sure some of us were actually a bit sad that although we didn't get that far, we're still facing backlash at school because we're actually trying to catch up and then try to balance ZTN and projects. It's quite hard.
Wow, fantastic. And of course, you guys did excellently in your specific category. Of course, then became a tight contest, right, leading up to the final. But overall, you grew your fund by the most, growing your fund 14 times from 1 million ZIG to 14 million ZIG. And of course, much to decipher and of course, much to carry home there that you as well can start your investment journey. Ladies, thank you very much much for appearing on Beat the Market.
Thank you so much.
Fantastic. And of course, that's a wrap in this specific segment. Coming up next, we speak to Kudzi Sharara, who is the deputy editor of the Zim Papers Business Hub, on how you can start your investment journey. Beat the Market to be right back. Don't go anywhere. Hold on, guys.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J. All right.
Put your seatbelt on.
Didn't graduate. I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
The guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting, and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play. The one story where you can't get out of your head.
Wakatarisa munhu so Erika like where you're sitting. Nozongokona bata face so pasina munhu.
Wakasiya music yako yo afro chakuti ndo music manje no Zimbabwe.
And I'm sure they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so
Shona kana kuti chindevere kana mumwe mutaure muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe ndiwo rupawo rwako ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
Welcome back, gospel music lovers, to another season of My Ultimate Gospel 10. Your ultimate destination for soul-stirring melodies and inspirational stories.
Man, prepare me for a good day.
God is faithful because he's holy.
Like, wow, this is beautiful.
Each week, they'll be revealing their top 10 gospel songs. Meet Miss Becky K, the dynamic and passionate new presenter for Season 3.
If you are ready, let's get into My Ultimate Gospel 10.
Premiering soon, only on ZTN Prime. Stay tuned and let the music uplift your soul.
Of course, you're watching Beat the Market as we broadcast to you from our ZTN studios in Zimbabwe's capital, Harare. I'm Eben Mabunda. We are looking at the ABCs of investing on our local stock markets. And of course, we had students from Harare High School earlier on telling us about their investment journey, having grown their investment portfolio from 1 million ZiG to 14 million ZiG in a space of 3 weeks, of course, on the virtual trading platform C-Trade. Now, we are joined in studio by Mr. Wafa Kuchera, who is an investment analyst, was also one of the adjudicators in the national quiz contest where capital markets were concerned. Sir, hello, and thank you for joining us on Beat the Market.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic. To get the ball rolling as an icebreaker, you were one of the adjudicators and key and instrumental to this national contest. Tell us more about your experience and what it entailed.
This year's national quiz was bigger and better than before.
Right.
We had so many schools with Harare High who were here participating as a new school participating. The competition was fierce for the students. They were well prepared. Those students know their stuff. They know their stuff.
Oh, no.
Yeah, we were going through the questions and some of us would actually not be able to answer some of them.
As an investment analyst, there were some questions that were too tough for you, which the students could articulate.
Yes, yes. They had gone through their notes and they had done research beyond that, and it was fantastic.
No,
yeah,
absolutely interesting. Now, what is the importance of initiatives like these ones in educating, of course, the young ones and developing a culture of investing from an African perspective?
So financial literacy is an important aspect of life in general, and especially of adult life. If you're able to save, especially from a young age, you'll have fewer problems as you go along. You'll be able to afford things that your peers won't be able to afford. You'll be able to have that rainy day fund, which others might not be able to have. So it's very important. It's also important for the economy, because the economy is then able to aggregate all these amounts of money from all these different people for use in development of the economy, in putting into industry, in putting into infrastructure, and in putting into, say, new technology as well.
Right. What are the key benefits of investing, be it on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange or the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, as a retail investor, as an individual investor in Zimbabwe's economic conditions?
So one of the things that I hear from a lot of people is that why should we invest?
Right.
But every time you earn money, there's inflation, there are things that can happen, there's frivolous spending that can happen. When you invest your money, you are saving it for the future. So as a retail investor, when you put money aside, when you forego that pizza, for example, and you buy your Insco shares, you're actually saving for the future. You get dividends from it, you get a return from it, you get capital appreciation from it, and all those things assist you with your bigger life goals or bigger financial goals in the future.
Right. We, as a viewer, right, there would be concerns, the fears of yesteryears. There are investments that were placed in different investment asset classes over the past years, be it insurance products, be it pension investments, and different kinds of investment, and people really lost their money. Now the question is, why should one invest on the stock market? What guarantee is there that I can put my $100 on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange or on the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, come back a year later? Suppose there is a currency change and for some reason we have to be using Zimbabwe Platinum, hypothetically speaking. What happens to my investment?
All right. So the first thing to say about that is investment has risk.
Okay.
So when you invest on the stock market, when you invest in farming, when you invest anyway, there's risk. What happens with the stock market is, or the good thing about the stock market is, it's a regulated market.
Right.
There are people who look at the market and say, this is okay, this can be done, this cannot be done. So you have the Securities and Exchange Commission who regulate the market. You have the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange who manage the trading, and it's a formal market, it's regulated. So when you invest your money, I wouldn't advise anyone to invest and leave it for a year. Like the students were saying, watch what the market is doing, keep track of your investment.
So you have to be following what's happening with that company,
yes,
what's happening with that fund.
Yes. Well, when there are signs of stress, when there are signs of even improvement, you should be aware of that, and then you should make your decisions on that. So investment is risk, but the stock market is a regulated market. It's very different from kupanana mariyem around where someone can just disappear. The stock market is regulated.
Okay.
And coming to your point, if the currency changes.
Yes, if we move from ZIG today, Zimbabwe gold, to Zimbabwe diamond, for instance, what happens to my money?
So this has happened a number of times. And on the stock market, if you owned, say, some shares in Delta or in Insco, what happens is you still own your Delta and Insco shares. The currency in which they trade is the one that changes. So you'll find in 2009, when we had the big change in our currency from Zim dollar to US dollar, all the people who had shares were able to become liquid faster than people who didn't have any investment, because they were able to sell their shares in US dollars and gain that liquidity. So if there's a currency change or if there's anything like that, your investment remains. And if you're invested in good counters, the price of that counter adjusts accordingly to the new currency.
Right, so what you're telling me is if I had invested, say, in OK Zimbabwe in 2006, and looking at the kinds of changes that have been witnessed, I could still walk into OK Zimbabwe in 2025 and lay claim to my investment. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's correct. So your investment remains throughout all those changes that are happening. So if you bought OK shares in 2006, those OK shares still exist in your name, and all it is you just claim them and you bring them to the market for trading.
All right. We had the learned scholars here from Harare High earlier speaking to us about how they took advantage of the C-Trade platform for their trading. You've also got the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange Direct or ZSC Direct. Now, how important are these platforms for one to invest, and what are the ABCs of investing through those particular platforms?
So C-Trade and ZSC Direct are direct market access platforms. They basically allow individuals and other individuals, especially because they're designed for individuals, to access the market without waiting to go through any formalities. So through the app or through the website, once you're registered, you can actually start trading. You fund your account and you're good to go.
Right, let's talk about funding the account. What's the minimum amount that I can invest on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange?
So the minimum amount is approximately $10
From $10?
From $10 you can actually start trading.
Right. And where, of course, the investment is concerned, they spoke about how they had an independent research team. That sounds to me the equivalent of stockbrokers. May you speak to the relevance of investing by means of stockbrokers?
So I think the Harare High team was very organized. and I think they did the right thing by having a research team. So as individuals, sometimes you don't have that capacity.
Time. Okay.
You don't have that time, you don't have, maybe the resources. So what happens is your stockbroker, because you're supposed, every time you trade on the stock market, you have to go through a stockbroker.
Okay.
So your stockbroker, you can actually call your stockbroker anytime you want to trade.
Okay.
Discuss with them what you're thinking about the market. I can see this counter, I think, I'm not sure about it, or I'm seeing this other counter, I really like it, should I buy it, And those stockbrokers will give you that advice, because they are closer to the market, they do research, and they are able to advise you.
What's the minimum amount by which I can invest by means of advice through a stockbroker?
So the stockbrokers...
In 30 seconds, we are out of time.
So the stockbrokers will not charge for that service. They get their money when you trade. I'm
going to have to jump in there. We have run out of time. Thank you, Wafa Kuchera, investment analyst, as well as, of course, the team from Harare High School. That's a wrap. Thank you for watching, and do have yourself a very good afternoon.